Stop overcommitting yourself. That's what I'm going to help you do in this week's episode. So what we're talking about today specifically is your fear of letting people down. Now, inspiration for this topic has come, as it always does, from Inside Be the First. That's my career progression program for mid to senior level Black lawyers who want to progress to the next level. Now, Inside Be the First this week, I've been coaching a particular client on overcommitting herself. She's at a point where she is starting to fall ill, starting to feel terrible, really struggling to have the physical energy to have like even sort of basic important conversations with the partner she works for or with other people around, because she's just so in the thick of doing the work and honouring all of these commitments that she has made. And so seeing that there was this going on, and by the way, this particular client has been so impressive with how she's been showing up to coaching, implementing the coaching, making so much progress in so many areas. And she's very calm and she's very thoughtful and she's very resilient, right? And if I hadn't been paying attention, I might have missed this. And this is one of the things that I say, I want you to know that you get when you join Be the First, is you get me paying attention and hearing and listening for what you're not saying. So not just what you're saying and bringing to the coaching, but for what you're not saying. And this is how I was able to uncover the challenge she is facing right now of overcommitting herself, right? And the fear, which is what we're talking about today, of letting people down. Here's why this is important for you. You are overcommitting yourself. If you have a fear of letting people down and you say yes all the time and then you work yourself into the ground to honour the commitment, then this will hold you back in your career. I'm going to teach you how to stop doing this as a way of getting out of your own way so you can make the progress and reach the goal that you have set for yourself and that you want to achieve. But first we have to clean up some of these quote unquote, right, bad behaviors, but certainly habits or behaviors that you've developed or you have acquired over time, which are not serving you. And I know they're quite hard to shake on your own, which is why I'm here. You're in good hands, my friend. So here's how you know this is you. You are someone who, let's say right now, you're working all of the hours. Work is just bleeding into everything. So you're working all of the evenings, you're working all weekends. And this isn't because you're just at that crunch point in a particular deal where it's all hands on deck and everything is the singular focus on getting this deal across the line. I'm not talking about that scenario that happens. There's a sort of rhythm to how that happens. I'm talking about the scenario where once again, it feels like you're back here again, right? Because this is something you recognize in yourself that you typically do. You find yourself with far too much on your plate. One of the giveaways for this particular client I was coaching is the fact that the work we've been doing on managing her calendar. So I've been teaching her time control. That's the strategy I teach you inside Be the First to help you take control of your time. So as I've been coaching her on that, she's been coming up with some real struggles, real problems, real challenges in implementing the coaching. And what this has revealed, which is part of the beauty of doing this work, is it reveals where you're getting stuck, what's really going on, and what we need to tackle. It reveals her tendency to say yes to too many things. That's why managing her calendar is such a challenge, is because she's got 3 or 4, 5 things going on simultaneously, right, in her calendar. It's as if she's cloned herself in her own mind and thinks she has 5 sets of 24 hours a day, right? So it's great that the work you do on trying to manage your calendar, taking control of your time, reveals what's going on so that we can look at it, as I said. So you're working all the hours, overcommitting yourself, and this is a pattern. That's what you want to think. It's a pattern. You've been here before. And you have the thought, as you're sacrificing your weekends and your time and your eating habits have gone out the window, your eating discipline has gone out the window, for example, and you're not exercising, everything else in your life is kind of falling apart. You're thinking to yourself, I've got no choice. I've got all of these commitments. I can't let anybody down, right? You look at your calendar in despair because you just don't see a way of lightening the load. And the thought is, but I don't want to let anybody down. How this makes you feel, you feel obligated, you feel tired, you feel like you've got no choice. And from that space, of course, you're going to be working all of the hours, grinding yourself into the ground, trying to meet all of these commitments. You sacrifice everything, trying to do what you said you would do. Now, the result of you having this pattern of behavior, so having those thoughts and you feel tired and obligated, and then you work yourself into the ground, the result is either you get sick, right? It's either one or all or many of these things. Either you get sick, so your health starts to deteriorate. This is what is happening with my client. Her health is suffering. So you might get sick, right? And there are all those signs that you are at risk of burnout. You for sure are not performing to your potential. I'm not saying you're not performing. I'm not saying you're not delivering, right? I know how hard you work, and I know how resilient you are and how resourceful you are and how much you can pull out of the bag when you need to, because of this industry and being black in this industry, it just demands that of us. And the fact that you are where you are shows that this is something you are capable of doing, of digging deep, of running on empty and still keeping on going. Okay, but for sure, it doesn't matter that it's not that you're not producing good work, it's that you can't produce your best work when you're running on empty. Okay, when you're operating on fumes, there's no fuel in the tank because you've just been working so hard and you're depleted. So for sure, you're at risk of getting sick. You don't perform to your potential. And what happens over time, if this is something that does keep happening, is, and this is the interesting thing, you keep doing the same thing, right? You keep overcommitting. Because here's what happens. If you have the mindset, I can't let anybody down, and you have all this work and all of these commitments, and you throw yourself into making sure you meet those commitments, your brain receives the message that you made it happen, it was okay, you managed it, and you will just keep doing the same thing. You'll keep overcommitting and assuming or trusting yourself to just be able to, like, there's no discomfort there other than, well, I don't want to let anyone down. If somebody asks me something, I want to say yes. And you've got this whole track record of having done whatever it takes to meet that commitment. And because you've sort of proved to yourself you can meet commitments even when you're overcommitted, you just keep overcommitting yourself. There's no reason or incentive that's strong enough, and you feeling exhausted and your health kind of deteriorating hasn't yet been a reason strong enough to stop you overcommitting. You keep doing it. Okay, so this is one of the results of you being in this, what I call this model of just being afraid of letting people down and therefore working yourself into the ground to not let people down. And what you do is create the pattern of behavior or reinforce the pattern of behavior of just overcommitting. And the whole thing happens all over again. And what that is going to add up to, my friend, is burnout. Okay, that isn't that is an inevitable if it keeps going. So this is also about saving you from burnout, not just about helping you to perform to your highest level so you can progress to achieve your goal. Okay, there are high stakes here. And over time, the other thing that happens, as well as the risk of burnout, is, well, you do actually risk not progressing if you're consistently not doing your best work. And even if you do progress and what you produce is good enough, what can happen is you then move up to that next level, you get that promotion that you've been going for, everything intensifies. At a more senior level, it's more of the same. It's more pressure, it's more work, right? It's more deals, it's more people wanting things of you. So if you have not learned the skill of not overcommitting yourself, right? Or falling short of overcommitting yourself, only committing yourself rather than overcommitting yourself, if you have not learned the skill of doing that, the skill of saying no, the skill of being able to evaluate based on what's already on your plate, based on what's already in your calendar, based on what you anticipate is coming up, if you don't have the skill of time control, which is what I teach you inside Be The First, you are going to find yourself overcommitting at a much more senior level with higher stakes for your health, higher stakes for your career. Okay, so we want to get this right. We want to change this, and I've got just the solution for you. It's really simple, and I want to make sure that you are listening and sitting comfortably as I tell you what it is. As your reaction. If it's anything like my client's reaction when I coached her yesterday, then your reaction is going to be, interesting. I wish I could be a fly on the wall. Here's the solution for you, my friend. I want you to let someone down. That's right, you heard me. I want you to let someone down. We're talking here about the fear of letting someone down. I actually want you to do it. Now, this is going to sound very strange in an industry where it's very important that you do what you say you're going to do. This is how you build trust, for example. This is how people, a key part of how people perceive you, your professionalism and your performance. It's all tied up. Now, I'm not saying to call your client up and say, sorry, but that deal that you're, or that document that you are expecting tonight, sorry, but you're not going to get it. There might be scenarios where that is the right solution, right? But I'm not saying you throw caution to the wind. What I'm inviting you to do is look at what's on your plate and find people who you are going to, who you're willing to let down. I know you're not willing to let anyone down, so I'm going to say that sort of in air quotes. Find people who, under this instruction that you need to find people to let down, I want you to find the ones that you feel or you can try on the experience of letting down. This is the coaching I gave my client, and it's exactly the solution that I'm offering for you today in this session to help to break this habit, this chain of overcommitting, burning yourself out, performing below your potential. All right? Now, here's what's going to happen when you are willing to let somebody down. Two things are going to happen. Number one, you're going to immediately create a little bit of ease, a bit of a reprieve in your workload. So right now, if you're feeling overcommitted, overwhelmed, look at your calendar, look at what's on your list, find someone to let down. Okay, and you will the effect that will have is immediately give you a bit of respite. I have done this so many times in the past as I've tried to break this habit. It happens less and less now because I'm getting really good at evaluating before I commit to doing something, right? And that brings me actually to the second benefit, and that is that the discomfort of having to let someone down, when you're someone who's not used to doing that, when you're someone who's afraid of letting someone down, the discomfort that you experience, that it's going to feel so uncomfortable that it will make you think twice the next time you go to say, yes, I'll do that. I'll sign up for that. I'll put my name down for that. The discomfort is going to be so unpleasant. You're going to be wriggling and writhing in your skin because you're not going to want to do it. You're going to be resisting it. You don't want to let people down. I know that. But on the other side of that discomfort is the instant reprieve. That's the first benefit. And then the second one is you will think twice. It will break the chain of, or break the habit of, you overcommitting. All right? So that is the solution I want to offer you for you today. Okay. This is the process I'm going to walk you through that you can literally start the minute you finish listening to this episode or watching this video. Okay, there are 4 steps I'm going to walk you through. They're deliberately 4 steps. I'm going to walk you through step by step because the order is really important. So number 1, super simple. Look at the calendar now and pick someone or something you need to say no to. That saying no to will create a reprieve, some sort of space in your calendar and on your task list, to-do list. Step number 2 is I want you to think about the person who you will be letting down when you tell them that you are no longer able to come to that event or produce that piece of work or item, whatever it is you've agreed to. I want you to think about the person you will let down, okay? And allow all of the discomfort to come up. I want you to feel it in your body, in your skin. If you have to, I do this sometimes when I'm going through some discomfort and I'm like coaching myself to stay with the discomfort, stay with the hard. I literally, it's like I want to climb out of my own skin. I want to escape my own body. That's how uncomfortable it feels. So however discomfort registers for you in your body, I want you to stay with it and feel it. You will experience enormous resistance, my friend. You will want to just go, oh, stuff it, I'm not doing that. oh, I know Caroline is recommending I do this, but no, I can't possibly. Your brain is going to offer you 100 reasons why it's absolutely impossible. It would be an outrage. You're going to burn bridges. You'll never come back from it. It's the worst thing you could possibly do, and how dishonorable, and it's not authentic. It's going to offer you, it's going to get out all of the biggest reasons, all of the biggest excuses why you cannot let that person down. And I want you to feel all of it. If it helps, write all of your protests down on a piece of paper. Get that down in a thought download so you can get it all out of your system. But that piece around just feeling the discomfort of laying someone down is really important processing for you. Okay? And then as the feeling starts to abate, as it gets a little bit less, okay, and you can move around again, I want you to do the act. Step number 3 is to let them down. I want you to communicate that although you said yes to a particular thing, regretfully, you're no longer able to do it. Okay? So step 3 is you literally go out and you tell them you're letting them down. You don't say, I'm letting you down, but you go out and you let them down. Okay? Tell them you can no longer do what you said you were going to do. It is going to feel terrible. It's going to feel horrible. Okay? But I invite you to feel it and do it anyway. This is the work. The payoff, I promise you, is so big. And in fact, the more uncomfortable you feel doing this work, the bigger the payoff will be. The stronger you will be on the other side of this when it comes to what you say yes and no to. But before we get to that, there's a 4th step. And the 4th step is a process I teach you inside Be the First called Mine the Gold. And mining the gold, I've actually done a podcast on this, I believe. Yes, I have done a podcast on this called Mine the Gold. And what that means is you take a scenario that feels awful, or it feels like a disaster or a failure or something that didn't go the way you wanted it to. And you find the learning in that experience. You take away something very valuable and some form of treasure from that negative experience. And one of the ways that you can do that is by asking yourself, like, what can I do differently next time? How do I avoid this situation next time? Yeah, what have I learned from this experience? So mine the gold of the experience of letting somebody down. That's it. Those 4 steps. You can literally do those 4 steps, my friend, within 10-15 minutes of listening to this podcast. And I'm only saying 10-15 minutes because you might need 10 minutes to process the discomfort. Steps 1, 2, and 4 you can do in 5 minutes. Okay? So you can do this right now. And I want to urge and offer you to do that. And here's why. Here's the result that's waiting for you at the end. Number 1, that respite, I said, in today's overwhelm. Number 2, every bit of respite you create for yourself is the opportunity or the freedom to perform better. Okay, or the ability rather to perform better. Yeah, every load that you take off your plate or out of your brain frees up more space for the other things that are already there. So you're going to perform better, closer to your potential, the more space you create for yourself. The other thing that's going to happen is you are going to stop overcommitting. I promise you, the memory, the experience of that discomfort, if you did what I said and you properly felt it and you processed it, you are going to think twice, my friend, about the next time you commit to something. You are going to hold more front of mind what's going on in your calendar and make that evaluation of whether you are able to take on, whether you have the capacity to take on whatever is being asked of you, take on that commitment. It's that bit that is missing, that results in so much of the overcommitting. It's I'm just going to ignore what's in my calendar, or I don't even know what's in my calendar. So I'm just going to say yes now to the person's face, and then I'll go away and I'll figure it out later. And we want to change that. We want the memory or the notion or the sense of what's in your calendar to be not something you come to later, but to be front of mind in the moment when someone asks something of you. And you are able to make an assessment about whether the answer is a yes, a no, or a maybe. I need to go and check my calendar. Okay, this is mature thinking. This is proper time management. It's not just working out when you're going to do the tasks. It's having in mind and an awareness of how much you have on your plate, what your capacity is, what you can say no to, and what you absolutely must or need to regretfully say what did I get that the right way around? What you can say yes to, and what regrettably you have to say no to. Just checking I got that the right way around. So the result is you break the chain. And when you break the chain of overcommitting, working yourself into the ground, we hugely eliminate the risk of you getting sick through overcommitting yourself. In other words, doing it to yourself. We want to eliminate that risk. We don't want to be making ourselves sick, my friend. Yeah, you absolutely must take care of yourself. Self-care is something I take very seriously, and we look at inside Be the First when you join. I'm not having any of my clients progressing to a new level when their lives and their health are falling apart. Yeah, and this is one of the ways in which we can make sure we're taking care of yourself. We've got to stop the overcommitting. We've got to stop it right now. Now, this isn't for a future date. We want to, this is urgent, because health issues can escalate quickly, right? And your health can unravel quickly. And before we know it, we're looking at the brink of burnout. I've coached so many of you who are on the brink of burnout. So we want to nip this in the bud straight away. And again, get to that level where you're able to manage your time, be in control of your calendar. And that, my friend, is the skill set you want to take to the next level. And it's the skill set that's going to support you to get to the next level. Because you can't progress if you're constantly overcommitting yourself and running yourself into the ground. All right, that's it from me this week. For those of you for whom this has hit home and really resonated, I hope you found this really useful. If you have any questions, if you struggle with the discomfort piece, whatever it might be, reach out to me. You can reach out to me on social, you can email me, you can DM me, however you want to do it. But do this work, my friend. You won't thank me for it while you're in the discomfort stage, but you will thank me for it when you implement and see the results on the other side. All right, if you are a mid to senior level black lawyer, this is exactly the stage where this can happen. Okay, and just at the stage when, just as you're reaching towards going up to that next level, very important that we sort this out. So I want to invite you to join Be the First, the career progression coaching program for black lawyers. The next enrollment is in December 2025, so in, 4 weeks from now. The next enrollment is in 4 weeks, and that is for a January 2026 start. Yes, if you think the shops are premature or early and getting their Christmas cards out already, I want to offer you that thinking about what you want to sign up for, thinking about and getting ready for joining Be the First in January, that thinking and preparation needs to start now. So that's why I'm giving you lots of time to think about it. Think about the funds you might need. Think about whose support you might need. Think about the goal that you might want to achieve. So I'm opening enrollment in 4 weeks. Make sure you save the date. Just save the date, the 1st of December. That's when you'll start to see more posts and more material. And I'll be talking about it on the podcast and on the channel, on the YouTube channel as well. So I'll be rolling out those details. Save the date so that you don't miss when the doors open to enroll you for that January start. All right, if you have any questions on Be the First or anything that I covered in this session, please don't hesitate. I'd love to hear from you. Otherwise, get to work, my friend. Get to work feeling that discomfort. And let me know how you get on. I'll see you this time next week. Bye for now.